Hello, 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 and welcome to another Self First Moment. Welcome to a Self Care Saturday. You know why? Because it's about you, and you. If you don't know and you're new to this community, I am Shawanna Kennedy, and I am all things self love. I'm all about empowerment, personal development, and mental wellness, right? Being whole, understanding not only whose you are, but who you are and what that looks like in your life. In this space, in this community, we have some amazing people. And what I have been under the direction of God, He has told me to really shake up the community and actually having conversations with some of the community. It was time for me to bring the Self Care Saturdays back. So, yes, we are back. We are back. We are back. And we are highlighting some of our active members who take a role in what helping the community to move, right? Because we're about it. We're a movement. And we know that it's not all about Shawanna and Shawanna's story and the things that she is able to show you through. Look at me talking about myself in third person, right? What that looks like for self-care and self-love and prioritizing yourself. But in this case, we are spotlighting some of our community members. So I have a young lady who is waiting in the wings, and she is no stranger to she is actually she's my first lady, if we want to be honest with you. So I'm excited because she brings decades of experience. She understands what it looks like to be a wife. She knows what it's like to hold down a job because she is a nurse. Yes, she is. And she is, in some regards, she sits in the seat as a first lady. So I know y'all like, who is our special guest today? Well, I'm excited. And so, you know what? I'm not going to prolong it. She'll be right with us. Hey, Lady Felicia Curry, welcome, 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 welcome.
Hello.
I am super excited to have you here, and thank you so much for being a part of the Self First community, because it's people like you who let people know that you are there, you are watching, and I know that you are a prayer warrior. So I know there's a lot of our community that are women and men of faith, and to know that we have community members that understand the power and the posture of prayer, understanding that God, that's the conversation. But then to know that we know someone that can get a prayer through, knowing that you're a part of the community is a big deal to me. You know that I love you and I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate your guidance and your direction and just our sisterhood. How about that? I'll just say even the sisterhood.
Yes.
So I know I mentioned a few things about you, but just say hello and let everybody know a little bit more about Lady Felicia Curry.
Hello. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I was kind of, hesitant about doing this, but I was like, let me tell my story. So, yes, I am a first lady. I've been married for 34 years. It'll be 35 come November. I have been a first lady that long. So, I have decades, as you said, of experience. I have three children. I have two daughters and a son, and I have three wonderful grandchildren who I'm known as Flexi. So, and I am a registered nurse at the James A. Haley Veteran Hospital here in Tampa, Florida. And I'm currently enrolled at Walden University with my master's degree in my family nurse practitioner with a bridge program to my doctorate. Because I love, love, love people. I love being able to help people know who they are and just to nurture them back to health. I love being a first lady. I love being a mother. I love being a wife. And most of all, I love being a grandmother. Don't tell them that though.
I love that. And I know that this will mean a lot to a lot of people because with all of the things you said, a lot of our community could fit into one of those, at least one of those categories. But this is all about you and spotlighting you as a community member. So I want to get right into it. Now, when I think about it, what was a defining moment that led you to putting yourself first? What was that defining?
Well, the defining moment that actually allowed me to put me first, if you really want to know the truth, when you first came out with your self first movement, because Felicia used to put everybody else first. I put my husband first, my children first, and now that I have grandchildren, I put my grandchildren first. Well, when you came out with your self first movement, I had to realize, hey, I'm neglecting myself. I need to start doing some of this self care. So, with this self care, I listened to you, I watch you. You didn't know this, but I watch you from behind. And I wanted to be, I wanted to have those pom poms and root myself on and say, you can do it, you can do it. And instead of me always telling somebody else they can do it. So, it's good to do self first because now my mental state of mind is better, my emotional state of mind is better, my physicality is better, even my environment is better, my spirituality is better, even recreational, and of course my social. I don't really do a whole lot, but what I do, I do it for me. I think about me, I include me in it, and I've learned how to stop putting everybody else first. Not that I don't do for them, but I learned to put Felicia first. And when I started putting Felicia first, man, I felt a whole lot more better because I started entwining with my mind, my body, and my spirit. And man, this first movement is the way to go. I am really in tune. And now I'm beginning to tell other people about how to self first treat yourself because in the field that I work, we have a lot of caregivers. And I tell people all the time, you're the caregiver, but you get tired. You got to start caring for yourself. If you do not care for yourself, the patient will still be here and you'll be bedridden or dead and gone. So now we created a program at work where we do self-care ministries with our caretakers. So therefore they have entities and other avenues that they can go to and ask for help instead of trying to take everything on by themselves. So therefore we created this group and I've enforced, thank you, Shawanna. You just don't know how you've impacted the community. You may be in another state, but you're still impacting in lives that you don't even realize that you're impacting because this self first movement and self care is very, very important. And I want to live a long time. I lost my mom she was 44 years old, and I vowed to take care of myself so that I can live a long time and not just to live, but to live a healthy, prosperous, and a beautiful, wonderful life instead of being grumpy, old, and can't do for myself. So that's part of my self-care movement.
Oh, thank you. That means it means a lot. It is part of part of the reason why I do what I do. I tell people oftentimes I had to become the thing that I needed for myself, even outside of having, of course, my scare that made me have to have the conversation with God and saying beyond my husband, beyond my children, I had to. It was imperative because I understand and I had to realize because oftentimes we forget that if you're a person of faith, we forget when the word talks about in Matthews, it talks about loving your neighbor as yourself. But the
Mhm.
reason why we have so much conflict, even with our neighbor, is because we're not treating ourselves as a neighbor. And I stress the fact that won't you be a neighbor to yourself? Won't you do the things that you oftentimes even will do for others, but you neglect for yourself? So that really did. Don't have me doing the ugly cry on here, but to know that that is still a part of you and it came from just you watching me from afar. And that's why if you're looking and you're listening, if you know that you're doing something and it's a call on your life and you are in alignment with what God has for you, you've got to do it because somebody is watching. Somebody is watching, and not only watching, they're seeing if you're going to be consistent. We have to be found not only faithful, but we have to be found consistent because you can be faithful, but if you are not consistent, somebody who is waiting on you. They need you have what they need. You are just the spark. You heard what she said, and thank you. Making note that even with us not being in the physical same state, from across miles, we can make an impression and an impact on somebody's life. So you already know, Lady Curry, that I love you and I know the things that you pull to and fro. You've been married for over 30 years. And we talk about, we need to even have a conversation where we just talk about what that feels like, the self-care when you have a spouse that you've been with not just a year, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, but 20, 30 plus years. How does that self-care even look because of the requirements, not only as a wife, but being a first lady? What does that challenge look like for you? How does that challenge you in yourself first?
I had to learn how to self first. Being married so long, I've always put my husband first because that's what when I grew up, that's what I knew. I knew that the wives put their husbands first. You cook, the husbands eat first, you eat last. And then, my husband always, no, you sit down and eat. He started implying of self first. Do me first, not him. Let him handle him and I handle me. I do the cooking. He can fix his plate. I fix mine. Or, we do, it's a partnership. It's not a one-sided thing. It's a partnership. And once you get that partnership established, you can begin to work on yourself because sometimes when you are in a marriage and when I tell you it can be difficult. Not everything is peaches and cream, but I tell you one thing. This is what I pray every day when I walk out this door. I pray and ask God to allow me to touch at least one somebody in a day's work, whether it be a patient of mine, a physician I'm working with, my bosses, family member, caretaker, whomever. If I could just touch one person, that one person would make a difference. And I said that to say this, and I didn't try to make you to do the ugly cry, but I wanted to give you your flowers while you live, because it's a testament that you are reaching people that you have no idea that you're reaching. It's a testament that you're reaching people that you would have never thought that you would have touched. It's the small things. And people sit back and watch you all the time. And I say it all the time. You are a book. People sometimes judge you by your colors or by your cover of your book. However, when they start to read the pages and you show yourself, that's your true self. And that's one thing that my mother-in-law always told me, the real you will show up. And you have shown up in this self-first movement. And I appreciate it. I publicly want to say thank you, because if it had not been for your movement, I would still put Felicia last, because my goal was to make other people happy and put them first and serve me last. And I can say thank you again.
Y'all, she's trying to mess with me. She's trying to mess with me. But it's a blessing. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And for a lot of people, it's a hard pill to swallow. I recall even when I initially was given by God the okay to even call it that. It was so many things in it. And I tell people before a pandemic, this is what was going on before a pandemic. And when I was given the permission from God to call it what it was, he didn't allow me to sprinkle some special name on it, but it was like self first. That's really what it was, self first. And the pushback that I got initially, you get it. If you've been and tried to do anything, you know the pushback that you can oftentimes get from the naysayers, the people who honestly don't get it. They don't know what they don't know. And it's about getting closer with your creator to understand and what he says about his love for you and what that looks like, and that he wants you to be healthy and whole, right? And knowing that part of how am I going to do that for the other people? It's not a cliche. I can't give you what I don't have. And sometimes we try to give when the person, if we were to look at and think about it, you may have heard the analogy, a pint of milk versus a gallon of milk. Oftentimes we're trying to give people a gallon and our capacity is really only the pint. And without us taking the time to carve out and to get rid of and shed some of the things that are weighing us down, we won't have room for more. When we say enlarge our territories, we won't have room for that. So I appreciate you. And see that it's those things that give you the momentum to keep going. It's serious. And because when we have these conversations, these candid conversations to say, yeah, every day is not rosy, every day is not peaches and cream, but I have to remember in him I live, move, and have my being. And today, like you said, it's like, what is my assignment today? What is my self assignment today so I can show up in the full and the wholeness of me? Now I know you are a grandmother. So, but you know what, before we touch that grandma, because they call her Flexi. So we'll be right back to find out more about that.
This episode is brought to you by Kennedy Media, your ultimate partner in content creation, video recording, and digital marketing. Be seen, be heard, and increase visibility in your business. Contact us today at KennedyMediaLLC.com, KennedyMediaLLC.com, and unlock your brand's full potential.
Welcome back. Welcome back. My lovely guest is none other than First Lady Felicia Curry, all the way from Tampa, Florida. She has been sharing and highlighting what self first, matter of fact, the self first movement has meant to her in her life and being a wife, being a mother, but she also is affectionately known and loved by her three beautiful grandchildren, my peanut, and by as Flexi. All right, Miss Flexi, what does being a grandmother of three and having your grandbabies close by, all up in your world, what does that look like? So if you could talk to someone who is not only a mother with small children, but also even a potential grandmother who has to remember self-care, remember putting themselves first, and they're a grandmother or a mother with just multiple young children. Could you help someone with that?
So first of all, I have two grandsons and a granddaughter, and being around them and I hope my children watch this because it made me wish I could have the grandkids first. I absolutely love, love, love them. I will give them the hair off my back. I would give them anything that they ask for. Matter of fact, I was up at 10:55 the other night fixing my grandson, who's 2 years old, French fries because he was hungry. He said he wanted French fries. So being in that aspect, it's a lot to it. It takes a lot, but I give them my all. I give them, as a matter of fact, they get more than what my children actually get because my granddaughter, who's in ballet, and she goes to ballet and tap every Thursday. And my oldest daughter, who's her aunt, says, we didn't get to go to ballet. And my response to her was, no, you didn't because we couldn't afford it. So now I'm giving them, it's not like it's a do-over by no means, but we're giving them the things that we couldn't afford to give them so that they can make this world a better place. So yes, you have to juggle. Yes, I do. My Thursdays are very busy. I go to work. I go pick them up from school. I come home. We jump into ballet clothes. I first got to give her a snack because if I don't give her a snack, we're not going to do good in ballet. So pick up snacks. We go to ballet. We come home. Then I cook dinner. Then we're playing. We're doing homework, whatever it is. Yes, they're in preschool. They have homework. We have to go over make sure everything is fine. But it's a joy. And I'll say this, and this is a little joke. My oldest daughter, when she was pregnant, she said, "Mom, you don't look like a grandma, so we got to find a name for you." And I said, "Well, what's my name?" She said, "Well, it's gonna be Flexi." I said, "Flexi." I said, "What does Flexi mean?" She said, "Well, your name is Felicia, and you don't look old, so we're gonna put Felicia and sexy together and come over with Flex." I said, "I love it. I love it." So now the kids call me Flexi, and I have some of my first lady sisters who refuse to call me Flexi because now they know what it means. But we kid about it. But again, I'll say you have to balance your life. You have to, in order to keep yourself first, you have to know where you stand. You have to create boundaries. Boundaries when it comes to your husband, it comes to your children, your grandchildren. Your grandchildren have to know that when it's time to digress for yourself, you need to be alone and give them something to do. But in order for you to stay, when I earlier talked about the mind, body, and soul, in order for your mental state of being to be where it should be, you have to take that time to digress and think about how your day has gone. Write down about 5 things that you can do that didn't go right, that you can do better tomorrow, the next day. And it helps you. It helps me. I hope that this helped you because sometimes we beat ourselves up at the end of the day thinking what could have gone better, what should have gone better. But we can't control everything. And that's what I had to learn. I tried to control everything, but you cannot control everything. Something I had to learn how to accept the things I can't change. And when I can't change it, I pray about it and I deal with it and I move on and I don't dwell on it. And that's how I've been able to do my self-care and to keep my mental mind. But when I tell you these grandkids keep me running, they keep me running. They 5-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old, they keep me going. But I would not change a thing about my life at this very moment. I am so satisfied and so happy with the way God had in the position that God has me in, because he's had to humble me for so many years because I lost my mom 27 years ago and I lost my mother-in-law 18 years ago. When I tell you it's been a battle not having grandparents around to help with these kids, you have to learn this stuff all by yourself. But by the grace of God, He's given me a balance in my life so that I can enjoy these days. I don't want to feel like I'm overwhelmed or I want to pull my hair out. I want to sit down and be able to laugh and talk about them and tell them what they did and made me do things that I didn't want to do when they get older. So you have to find that balance in life in order to be able to take care of yourself. Because if not, I wouldn't want to be in that position.
Ooh, that was good. That was rich. I hope you are paying attention. I hope you have pulled someone in close. I hope that you are taking note. I actually hope that these are things that you are doing and saying, this is what I needed to hear because I am on the right track. I love the conversation, the rich conversation that we are having. And I appreciate you for being so transparent with the things that you get to do, right? That we're graced to do and God is keeping us. So I even need you to speak to a person that out of all of that, you spoke about the boundaries and you talked a little bit about what that looks like. But if you had to lean in and for a person to say, I hear all of that and all of that sound good. I even love the Lord, but I am still struggling. What a piece of advice would you give a person who is still struggling to make themselves a priority? Because I know sometimes people say, but I have these responsibilities. So because you have all of this wisdom, all of these years of experience with having adult children, and now you really do. When I say her grandchildren are a part of her daily life, they are part of her daily life. So it's not where she's a weekend grandmother. No, these babies are really like her additional children and they're an active part of her life. So when you hear her words, this is coming from someone, and I want you to really lean in. And so give someone a piece of advice that's struggling, it's that they don't know. Help them today.
So let me just say this. If you are the person that's sitting there listening to this and you're struggling and trying to figure out what you can do for yourself, I want you to think about this question. If God came and called your name today and then you took your last breath, who would be here to take care of the responsibilities that you say you have to do? At some point, you have to realize that you have to take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of you, nobody else will. If God take you right today, who's going to be here to wash your dishes? Who's going to be here to vacuum your floor? Who's going to be here to cook dinner? You have to think about these things. So in aspect, if you are gone, who's going to do it? That's the question I ask you. Who's going to be left to do it? When you're struggling, in which you shouldn't be struggling, because when you're dead and gone, I tell people all the time, you are replaceable. When you're dead and gone, can't nobody take your place. But you can't worry about the things that you can't change. You have to start focusing on yourself, your health. Your health matters. You have to take care of you. Anything that you can't get done in an 8-hour day shift, leave it over to the next day. That's my motto every day. If I don't get it done in my 8-hour shift, it'll still be here tomorrow waiting on me. That's exactly the way I feel. So you have to start taking care of you. Take care of you, because if you don't take care of you, you would not get the full effect of how you're supposed to be taken care of.
Woo! Did you hear that? I really hope that that has helped you. Now, I appreciate you being here, and I only have one final question for you today. When I think about it, and I think about the words sometimes to help us besides Jesus, to help get us centered. What is that one word for you when you think about self-care and yourself? What is that one word for you?
My one word is, because I'm known to my grandchildren as Flexi, my one word came to mind would be flexibility. I am flexible in so many aspects. I don't care if I have a timeline of priorities that they're pulling me this way and pulling me that way. I have to be flexible and divide my time and say what I'm going to do first. So flexibility is a big thing, because things happen. I could plan all day long, but then my husband come and say, well, I forgot to tell you, I got to go preach tonight. Well, then I got to be flexible, because guess what? I have to change my plans because I want to be there to support him. But flexibility is big for me because, everything is not set in stone. So you have to be very flexible. And I think I can stand on that. Flexibility has gotten me through a lot of things of being flexible. If you're stern all the time and don't want any change, flexibility is not for you. But I'm telling you, if you think about it, think about being flexible. Flexible bends, flexible stretches. So I don't want you to stretch too much, but bend just a little bit, just so you can get flexibility in your life.
Yay! I love it. I love it. I love it. Don't y'all just love this community? Don't y'all just love it? Woo! Yes. So if you are not a part of this community, I have to tell you, because you might have leaned in just to hear our special guest. Make sure you are a part of this community and tell somebody. You know what? Sharing is caring. Get somebody else in here, because it's all about who. The who in all of this is you. I appreciate you so much, Lady Curry, for stopping by, for being a part of the community, and just sharing even a little bit of part of your You First story with us. And we appreciate you in the community. Is there any final words that you would like to have before, look, we get you out of here?
Listen, final words. If you take one day out of a week or once every 2 weeks, take it for yourself. If you have to go eat lunch by yourself, go have dinner, go for a walk, take it and make it all about you. There is no I, there is no me, there is you in you. You take care of you. If you take care of you, you'll live a long, prosperous life and you'll feel better. And I want to feel better. So for that person that need to hear that and need to know, take time for you. God loves you, and so do I.
Yay! Amazing, amazing. I love it. Lady Curry, don't you go nowhere. Don't you go nowhere. I'll be right back with you. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this month's spotlight, our community spotlight. The next one really could be you. Remember, he said it, be flexible. You have to be flexible and even grant yourself some grace along this self-care, this self-first journey, because I know it's taken you a lifetime to be in the position that you're in right now. But it's with every day, do something, a little bit more, a little bit greater, to help put you in alignment that positions you and postures you so that you can have the life that you truly do want to live. And if you're already doing these things, I guarantee you there's always something that we can be doing a little bit more. So remember, as I like to say, do something today that your future self will thank you for, because we're living the life that we're living right now based off things that we've done in our past. So consider those things. Make sure, again, if you're not sharing and being a part of all things self-care, self-first, get in here, invite someone, because sharing is caring. I appreciate you for being a part of this community and for loving and trusting me, Shawanna Kennedy. All right, guys, I will see you next time on Self First for our spotlight. Bye for now.
Thank you.